Hi there, welcome to another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. So glad you could join us. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Coming up, we look at dengue fever and ways to limit its spread. We are also reflecting on how the JIS helped the Mount Olivet boys celebrate this past Christmas. So sit back and relax for all this and more within our half-hour journey on Jamaica Magazine.
Jamaica, this are the national cleanup crew. Come join the fight, stop mosquito from bite you. That mean we are go clean up school, workplace, home and community too.
Let us fight against dengue. Join the National Dengue Cleanup Crew as we search for and destroy mosquito breeding sites from January 24 to January 26, 2020.
Jamaica, this are the national cleanup crew. Come join the fight, stop mosquito from bite you.
Mosquitoes wanted dead, not alive. A message from the Ministries of Health and Wellness, Culture and Local Government.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Two communities in the corporate area, Raytown and Grandspen, will be the focus of the country's National Cleanup Days on January 24, 25 and 26 to eradicate mosquito breeding sites.
As we know, dengue is a serious disease that has the potential to affect every constituency, every community, every school, every home, and every person. And therefore, it is critical that all of us, each member of parliament, each councillor, every individual, get involved in efforts to find and destroy the mosquitoes that transmit dengue.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, is to do an analysis of the dengue cleanup data to monitor the results and determine if the exercise should continue.
The metrics in terms of what Dr. Tufton spoke to in terms of cases and the identification, the metrics in terms of tonnage of waste that's been removed, all of these things will give us the indicators as to whether or not the program really needs to be extended beyond that.
In other health news, Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has given assurance that there is no shortage of the flu vaccine within the public healthcare system.
The ministry has made several available the flu vaccine free of cost in the public health system to high-risk members of the population, including healthcare workers, children and the elderly with chronic illnesses, pregnant women, individuals who are institutionalized or in state care, and non-health frontline workers.
Government is reporting that over 90% of the Jamaican population has supported the ban on plastics, which was introduced in phases starting January 1, 2019.
Since the ban, the country has witnessed a pronounced reduction of plastics in terrestrial and marine environment. We have observed significant behavior and attitude change with regard to the banned items, and Jamaican calling for the banning of more items such as plastic utensils, pampers, and other plastic food containers. Mr. Speaker, there are several business opportunities for large corporations, and MSMEs have also blossomed from this initiative, with business being developed to specialize in the alternatives.
A new national public key infrastructure project has been launched by the government under the National Identification System NIDS program.
In a PKI environment, citizens can log on securely and validate their transactions online. Citizens can prove who they are in the online environment, and citizens can digitally sign documents in a few clicks.
Gender Minister Olivia Grange is pleading with persons involved in situations of conflict to utilize the helplines set up by her ministry to eliminate gender-based violence. Male victims are being urged to contact 876-553-0387, while female victims may call 876-553-0372.
Through these initiatives, the Gender Division continues to work closely with the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
In the meantime, the Ministry of Gender will be rolling out an €8 million initiative to end gender-based violence on the island. The Spotlight Initiative Country Program is being funded by the European Union.
it is time for us to stop labeling gender-based violence as a man and woman affair. It is a horrific crime that we all have a role in bringing to an end.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government remains committed to putting in place the necessary policies, infrastructure and systems to preserve lives on the nation's roads.
We have very much a vested interest in ensuring that we in Jamaica develop safe road practices, both from in terms of, as you have said, the public awareness and public education, the legislative framework, and our ability to enforce, but in terms of building out the infrastructure in the first place to make it safe and convenient for road users.
And finally, grade 4 students will sit their component of the primary exit profile on June 25 and 26 in language arts and mathematics performance tasks. The Education Ministry will be providing teachers with guidance as to how they can prepare their students for the new assessment. And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
Vector-borne diseases such as dengue fever pose serious public health risk. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has been ensuring we all are aware of the dangers, know how to recognize the illness by its symptoms, and treatment options.
Dengue fever is a vector-borne disease carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. It is caused by the flavivirus and occurs in either a mild or severe form in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Globally, 50 to 100 million cases of dengue are seen yearly.
Dengue is endemic to Jamaica, meaning that since its introduction in 1977, we have cases that occur every year. The cases of dengue fever, including severe dengue, can occur at any time throughout the year. An outbreak is declared when the number of cases increase above the usual that is expected for that time of the year.
Dengue is transmitted to humans by the bite of the infected female mosquito. Symptoms typically begin 3 to 14 days after someone gets infected with the virus. Symptoms can last from 2 to 7 days.
The incubation period is usually 4 to 10 days, and illness begins abruptly, and there are essentially 3 phases of the illness. First phase is where you have the fever. The second phase that you can go into is a critical phase, and then you have a recovery phase.
Over 70% of persons who contract the disease usually experience mild symptoms. Persons affected by the mild form of the disease may experience fever of 40 degrees Celsius or higher, headache, muscle pain, and bone and joint pain. Some people may also experience nausea, pain behind the eyes, swollen glands, vomiting, sore throat, rash, and diarrhea.
So you can see that it's a range of symptoms that can present, and therefore, when you initially present with dengue, it may be seen as different illnesses. It may be seen as gastroenteritis, it may be seen as an upper respiratory tract infection, or it can be seen as dengue fever.
To be on the safe side and put speculations aside, persons who start experiencing symptoms are advised to visit their health facility or doctor for medical advice and treatment. If indeed you have dengue, do not self-medicate with treatments that can worsen your illness or cause bleeding. So be sure to have a discussion about dengue with your doctor. The Health Ministry says doctors who recognize the presence of a fever should also have a high suspicion for dengue and treat with the necessary precautions. For mild cases of dengue, persons may treat themselves at home with specific types of over-the-counter medications, but heed the warning.
Fever and pain to the joints, pain to the muscles, must be treated with only medications that have cetamol, paracetamol, and Panadol. You can also use tepid sponging, fan therapy, and increased fluid to assist with decreasing the fever. Do not use medications that contain aspirin and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen and diclofenac. You must read your labels carefully. If you are unsure, consult your pharmacist or your doctor before using the medication.
The drugs you should not take while experiencing dengue have been known to cause and/or worsen bleeding and increase the severity of the disease. Besides the mild form of dengue, persons can also experience a more severe form called dengue hemorrhagic fever, which is a rare complication of the illness that can lead to death. Usually the fever that comes with dengue lasts for about 5 days, and it is usually when the fever is going away that persons tend to worsen. Warning signs include persons not eating, experiencing persistent vomiting, lethargy, restlessness, shortness of breath, pain in the abdomen, or tenderness in the abdomen. Persons should also look out for signs of bleeding.
Those signs of bleeding can include bleeding from the gums, bleeding in the urine, it can be bleeding in the stool. Usually though, when you start getting bleeding in the stool, in the urine and stuff, you have reached a severe point.
It is important to note that a case of severe dengue can occur without symptoms of bleeding. Also, in a case of severe dengue, there may be difficulty in maintaining hemodynamics, in which a person's blood pressure tends to drop suddenly and circulation to vital organs is affected.
With dengue, fluid tends to seep from the blood vessels to the outside of the vessels, meaning that there is decreased blood flow to vital organs. And that is why you get the symptoms of lethargy and restlessness and pain in the abdomen. What those signs are signs of decreased perfusion to the brain. It means that enough fluid is not going to the brain because persons are dehydrated. Okay? The dehydration and the signs of dehydration are very important to treat.
Persons are warned to not wait for these signs and instead go to the doctor or hospital early. People with chronic illnesses such as sickle cell are at a greater risk of experiencing severe dengue. These individuals must use precaution when taking their medications.
If you have a chronic illness that you may be taking medications for and you think that there may be some interference with dengue, you must speak to your doctor to decide whether or not you should continue to take these medications.
In order to effectively combat and limit the spread of dengue and other mosquito-transmitted illnesses, persons must eliminate mosquito breeding sites in their surroundings. Breeding sites include old tires, laundry tanks, dish drainers, covered tanks or cisterns, drums and barrels, discarded buckets and containers. Other sources are pet dishes, construction blocks, bottles, discarded tin cans, tree holes and bamboo, bottle pieces on top of walls, old shoes and flower pots. Mosquitoes can also breed in discarded toys, roof guttering, bromeliad plants, garden containers and tools, brick holes and unmaintained wading or swimming pools. Where water is stored for use, the containers must be properly covered and sealed against mosquito entry. The use of mosquito repellents containing DEET and long-sleeved clothing are also recommended for personal protection. For more information, please contact the Ministry of Health, 10 to 16 Grenada Way, Kingston 5. Call them at 876-633-8172, 876-633-7771. Information is on the web at moh.gov.jm and contact can be made by email pr@moh.gov.jm or on social media.
From January 24 to 26, the Health Ministry and other government ministries and agencies will be leading a national cleanup effort across the island. It's to remove garbage from our communities and ensure there is no space for the dengue-causing Aedes aegypti mosquito to breed. Join the effort by properly disposing of your waste and searching your homes for mosquito breeding sites and destroy them. It's corporate goodwill. It meets the Christmas spirit of giving in the hills of Manchester. Take a look.
The Jamaica Information Service, JIS, and its partners make routine treks to the Mount Olivet Boys' Home yearly to provide well-needed supplies. Christmas is one of 3 main visiting times when these caring agents of change bring special joy and warmth to the boys at their home in Walderston, Manchester. This past Christmas was another joyful and even more special occasion for the wards of the state. December 2019 marked the 10th year and the 30th visit since JIS adopted the Mount Olivet Boys' Home in 2009. On this trip, current and past staff members and their families, as well as a group of young swimmers, brought Christmas cheer to the home's 42 wards. A word of prayer and a rendition of melodious caroling by the team set the tone for the annual awards and Christmas luncheon.
Jesus, the Savior is born. Do you know the story? How the King of Glory came to earth, a baby born in a manger.
In addition to reciting the Christmas story, the boys showed off their vocal talent.
Strings of street lights, even stoplights, blinking bright red and green, and the shoppers rush home with their treasures.
Carol of the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away, Christmas is here, bringing it to young and old, meek and the bold, ding dong and dong, that the song with joyful. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will someday walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels stood? That sleeping child you're holding is a great I am.
Then all, singers or not, received individual gifts handed out by members of the Macca's Swim Club. The awards segment saw the boys and staff recognized for outstanding performance and conduct throughout the year. Awards were presented for Boy of the Year, Most Improved Behavior, Male Staff of the Year, and Female Staff of the Year. Donations were presented by the JIS and partnering sponsors. Those boys whose birthday anniversaries fell within the months of September to December received cards and joined in cutting their shared cake. Chief Executive Officer at the JIS, Donna Marie Rowe, sees this corporate social responsibility initiative as a winning tool to encourage and inspire the children in their care.
And I'm so glad that as a team, we decided to adopt the Mount Olivet Boys' Home in Walderston right here in Manchester. It really has been a journey for us. We have determined that we wanted to target boys in particular. I felt that we made the right decision to support this boys' home. This is the little that we can do from our resources at JIS as staff members. And with the network that we have managed to reach out to corporate Jamaica, including the Why Be Afraid Foundation. When we touch the lives of boys, we are gonna change society. We really pray for your good success. We pray that you all do very well in life and that you will come out as good young men, fit to be lived with.
Director of the Boys' Home, Patrick Newman, expressed joy and thanks to the JIS team for the years of continuous assistance.
You have, throughout the year, has made your presence felt at Mount Olivet Boys' Home, and for that we are truly, truly grateful.
An important part of the agency's interaction with the home is the provision of mentorship to the boys. During this visit, signs of expansion were visible at the home, where development started for the addition of more dormitories. The listing of partnering sponsors for this Christmas visit included Macca's Aquatic Racers Swim Club, Rainforest Seafoods, Lasco Distributors, Fontana Pharmacy, B&Y Enterprise Limited, Sugar Mama Cakes, and the Jamaica Urban Transit Company.
We enjoy coming each and every time, and we thank you for having us. Thank you so much for your support, for your time and your energy, and for everything. And happy holidays.
JIS and its sponsors' next major visit to the Mount Olivet Boys' Home are the Sports Day in April and in summer for back-to-school preparations.
Government values the importance of partnership in development, which serves to improve the economy and well-being of citizens. A key partner in Jamaica's advancement over the years has been the International Development Bank. We'll now have a look at how partnership with IDB helps to transform Jamaica.
Developing a robust economy, enabling a thriving business environment, building resilience to climate change, protecting the most vulnerable in society. Some of the ways Jamaica's leading source of development financing, the Inter-American Development Bank, is working with the government to improve lives. The Inter-American Development Bank is strengthening Jamaica's economy by providing assistance to the government's economic reform program.
We started out on this journey 4 years ago with the 2013 IMF program, which had a very significant financing component to it. So part of it was funded by the IMF, part of it was funded by the IDB, part of it was funded by the World Bank. So we were three partners all helping Jamaica restructure its economy. That has been extremely successful, as you know. Jamaica sailed through that program, met every single target, all the reforms were done, and hence we see confidence coming back, not just domestic investors, but also consumers are starting to feel like, all right, things are happening in the country.
We borrowed $600 million in one single year. That year made us the largest borrower from the IDB. We put it in a range of very important projects that have been supportive of the government's reform program.
Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, are the backbone of Jamaica's economy, creating an estimated 90% of new jobs. The IDB engages MSMEs through the Multilateral Investment Fund, MIF.
Primarily through providing access to finance to entrepreneurs and also to help them with their capacity building and create an ecosystem in which they can thrive and do well.
Funding from the MIF was channeled through the Jamaica Stock Exchange to assist businesses such as CAC 2000 Limited to access equity capital through the junior stock market.
We are growing, we are trying to manage the growth. We are actually growing out of our establishment right now. We don't have enough space, so we're looking to expand as much as we can now.
Red Stripe's Project Grow, which aims to replace 40% of an imported raw material with locally grown cassava, has been boosted with a technical assistance grant of US $80,000 from the IDB.
We have 200 people now working under this project. If you take into consideration that you take an impact of an average of 7 persons impacted by every direct people employed, we're impacting almost 1,400 people in Jamaica.
Larger companies receive assistance through IDB Invest, the private sector arm of the bank. Investments are made in projects that will have a major development impact in the region and the country.
If you look at the Kingston Container Terminal project, for instance, we've provided almost 90 million in financing to that project. And the whole idea here is that with that investment, Jamaica can play a greater role in being a logistics hub and playing a role in international transshipment.
The IDB is helping to build Jamaica's resilience to climate change through the pilot program for climate resilience, PPCR.
We have right now 3 major projects that are being supported under the PPCR. The first one is on a national level, and that's the adaptation program and financial mechanisms. The second side of it goes directly into adaptation. And the third component of this is the financial mechanisms. And one of them is a line of credit that is being implemented by Jamaica National Group.
The owners of Forest Park Guest House and Farms used this loan facility to make their business more climate smart.
These ponds basically harvest the rainwater, and from that we can do whatever needs that the farm has.
The bank helps vulnerable Jamaicans through the Program for Advancement Through Health and Education, PATH, and the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP.
I don't think I would have done so successful if I wasn't on the PATH program, knowing that the lunch that they provide for me every day, it helped me a lot knowing that when I have more food in my belly, it can help me to stay up more and study more for longer hours.
The IDB has been a supporting partner of the CSJP, a crime prevention initiative, since the program started 17 years ago. The various services offered by the CSJP have impacted several volatile and vulnerable communities across Jamaica.
We have a program called the Violence Interruption Program, which is implemented by PMI on behalf of CSJP. And we have seen communities or groups in communities that have gone into peace truce.
The Inter-American Development Bank continues to work with the Jamaican government to improve lives and help Jamaica to become the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
We've come to the end of our half-hour journey. Be sure to come right back here tomorrow for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, jis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.